game studios, and I've also attended the University of Baltimore and Montgomery College for game design. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to talk. Um, I am also an officer with Martin, so you guys haven't joined that organization. We have it in interested. I'll probably be asking a bit later. But to start off, what was your experience getting a computer gaming associate's degree, game design bachelor's?
So for me, that experience was really, I would say, like a roller coaster because I didn't start off when I got enrolled into community college. I didn't start off with game development. I started off studying life sciences because I wanted to go into the medical field. But later on, like the second semester before I could finish my associates in life sciences, that's when I decided that yeah, this career path just it really isn't for me. I didn't really have that passion, that drive that I would see other students have. So it really didn't make sense for me to continue. I wanted to take some time to really find out what I really wanted to do as a career. And so I took some time off and really thought about it. And luckily, the same community college that I was in, they were offering a computer gaming and simulation associate's degree. And gaming has always been something, well, game development has always been something that has interested in me, but I never really thought of it as uh, something where I wanted to work in. But after researching and really thinking it through, that's when I decided to switch over to that major. And that's like later on, that's when I got my associate's degree. And after that, I transferred to the University of Baltimore, where I got my bachelor's degree in, I believe, yeah, in game design.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually hear a lot of people saying are to start off. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, Dylan. I think for Dylan, it for but moving into the gaming, a lot of people in college don't know that's even. Your story seems very similar to a lot of people. And have you found both degrees to be helpful for being hired in game?
Not really the associates, but definitely the bachelor's. It's helped me with getting a job as a game design instructor for another company. And with that, I was able to like put it on my resume, which later it helped me on for my current job at Capitolite
Where did you work for the game as a game designer?
for ID Tech.
Um, did you have any issues with game design programs that you were in?
Not, I wouldn't say really any issues for me personally, but I just wish more universities would offer programs that are focused on game development to be more specialized. Like the University of Baltimore's game design program is very general, so you kind of get an experience of each discipline from game design, level design, programming, uh, art, and you know you get to experience each for a bit, but you don't really. There's not really like a specialized area for like level design, for example. There was only one level design class at the University of Baltimore, and it really wasn't focused on what level design actually is. It was more focused on like how aesthetically pleasing a level should look, which that's not really what level design is about, which like I learned later on. And so I had to look into other resources to really learn about level design after I graduated.
Yeah, we see that a lot on just with like UCI, for example, I hear that mainly programming based because it's in the department, and then for UCLA, it's more art based. So, but then
Mhm.
they don't really specify that in the implications of. So, yeah, that's really unfortunate. They don't really say what it is, and they just like there definitely
Yeah.
needs to be more specialized programs. And how important would you say it is to get a degree?
I would say it really depends by studio or company because I know like not literally not every place that you apply for is gonna look at your degree. They're gonna really look for the projects that you've completed as part of your experience. And so that's why when having a portfolio set up, it's always about quality over quantity because they really want to the like the recruiters, design managers, creative directors, they really want to see portfolio pieces that focus on quality. And so that means providing extensive documentation, all the iterations that you've done. And this isn't just like focused on level design. This could be really any discipline. Like they want to see the iterations that you made. They want to know like the why and how you did these iterations, and really just anything else that can explain really your thought process for this project, like the role for the project that you worked on. Anything like that is really what they look for.
Since you're talking about things while you're applying, um, do you compile this into a portfolio, or do you just have bits and pieces set up in?
Oh no, I have it set up in a portfolio. I have heard though, like some people do like separate it into like PDFs and submit it into like when they see like a job posting and like there's options to like to upload like any like other pieces of work. But I know it's like mainly like just portfolio what people submit.
Do you have any recommendations what you should portfolio just based on what you focus on as you're primarily a level designer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Within level design.
Yeah, so I know for like my portfolio, I have the pen and paper layout, the pen and paper 2D layout, and this could be just like a rough sketch of your, like how you're uh starting to build your ideas first, and then for it to be, like a lot more polished and like making sure that whoever is looking at your portfolio, they can understand your writing and really what you're trying to do with your layout. I would recommend to convert that pen and paper layout into a digital one. And for me, I personally use Figma to convert any of my pen and paper layouts. And then I also have that on my portfolio. Um, I also have like the iterations I've made, and I also have set the visual reference images, and this could be anything from photographs that you take, photographs that you find online. It could be like videos that you look on YouTube for, and you could just take a screenshot of that. Really, anything that's helped you really envision the design of your level. And for people who are checking out your portfolio, they really want to see how your entire level came to be, and then you just explaining your thought process for every like area, every like section that focused on like gameplay mechanics or like puzzles or like learning something else or like um, could be a collectible, really anything. It's always good to have like a good thorough explanation.
I would like seeing how that looks, but I know you probably don't have that on hand right now. That would be cool. And you're currently working a contract job for Capsulite, right?
Yeah. And just real quick, I do want to go back to the previous question.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I forgot one thing. Whatever game that you may like you've really enjoyed playing in the past, or like you're currently playing now, if you do a level design analysis document and put that on your portfolio, that can definitely help you stand out. I've done a level design analysis for Fallen Order, and that helped me um, get into another project. Like it's not like a paid project, but it's a project where it's a group project, and the creative director really wanted to see how much level design I knew. How much of the level design principles I knew, and by him looking at my level design analysis document, he was able to really get a grasp of my understanding, and so this really helped me with becoming part of that team for that project.
Um, it's definitely that's actually very interesting. They thought about using other games, analyzing the show how your thought. But I can see how that would help the product, which we're looking to hire you. Like that back the way that you would. Definitely cool. Definitely try that myself. Um, I had a question about what contract work is like. Oh, and I saw a hand, and if you guys could ask questions next, I can read them out loud. My question was, what is contract work in the game industry?
So for me, Capitolite, like that position, was my first experience with contract work, and it's that you're assigned a certain task, and it has to be completed by the set date on the contract, and it could be that the contract states you get paid hourly, or you get paid by the end of the task, like a set amount. For me, I was allowed to like discuss, and it's based on hourly pay. So any amount of hours that I put into the like my task for Capitolite, that's what I get paid. And this could be working like at any time. Could be like in the evening all the way up until like midnight, or like on weekends. And so for me, like I really enjoy it because I have the flexibility to work really whenever. Um, and yeah.
And what has your experience been like for doing level design?
It's been a really good experience. I've been having like a lot of fun working with the team there. It's been good working like one on one with the creative director. We have level design meetings every Thursday, and so every Thursday, like any progress that's made on the level design, the layout, I get feedback from it, and any iterations that need to be made for the level, they're applied as uh, the necessary iterations are applied. But it's really good having another person who you who focuses on level design for a project, and rather than just being like a design person, like in general.
Definitely helps you feel like a really.
Yeah.
You guys saw the flyer. There's a of the game on like within the game. Want to look it up? What's the game called again?
Oh, Path of Kami. I can link it.
Yeah. I'll ask it right after that.
I can put it in speaker week, right?
Yep.
There it is.
Definitely recommend you check it out because it's really cool. Um, and Aiden asked, how much does game mechanics affect the level design?
So for game mechanics, I'll talk about a wax art. That's the project that I'm working on this side. And so for game mechanics, it can really affect the level design because there could be a section where you're learning that it's focused on learning one mechanic and then it gets reinforced in another area. And that's something that I've been learning with Michael Wolf. He's the game director for Wax Art, and whenever we meet, we always have the discussions about whether or not a player is learning a certain mechanic, like if they're learning it efficiently, like if they're learning it too fast or too slow, or really like anything else that can impact the player's experience when it comes to learning. And the for the layout itself, the way a player is taught a particular game mechanic, it can be entirely based in that area.
Hopefully that answer. If you have any further, feel free to put them in. But thank you for that explanation. And for people who don't really know too much about level design, how would you define it?
So for me, level design, I would define it as the creation of a space found within a game, and the space could be like a stage, a map, or like a mission. And with level design, you bring in all of the elements of a game, like game mechanics, the gameplay, puzzles, obstacles, narrative, and so on. You bring it all together.
Um, and I'm not sure if you wanted to, but are you able to talk about your upcoming game, or is that still like you
I
hush
can't.
hush hush?
Yeah, I can't really talk about like the process at all. I wish
That
I
is all
could.
right.
Like I really like I wanted to bring like layouts that I did and like a couple screenshots, but uh because of NDA I can't really do anything.
That is totally all right. Um, do you want to describe your process for creating a level, or you kind of got into it a bit earlier?
Yeah, I've always had it like written down. I don't know if I can copy and paste it and because it's a long explanation.
Oh yeah. I remember I was supposed to. That was gonna be a long time, so I will hold that off and ask if we have any extra time at the end. Um, but do you recommend any learning resources for students?
Yeah, so for level design specifically, there is the Design Den. It's a Discord channel specifically focused on level design. And it's not just students, it's also freelancers, uh, professionals working in AA, AAA. They're all in that Discord channel. And people are actively posting like their level design layouts and are constantly getting feedback. And I really do recommend it for anybody that's looking to join. I can post a link here as well.
That would be really great. While you do that, oh, cool, that was fast.
Yeah. I have two more that
Sure.
yeah, so the next one is the Steve Lee game dev channel. He is also focused primarily on level design, and I can post a link to his YouTube channel as well. But for the last resource, it is the Level Design Lobby podcast on Spotify. It's a podcast by senior level designer Max Pears, and I highly recommend it. He goes, I'm pretty sure it's like a weekly podcast. And he talks about different level design principles, and he goes like really thorough. He explains them in a thorough way. So I really recommend this podcast as well.
Not at every, but I will at the very end. all this all in one. I think our other speaker. Adrian asked, "How does a game design level design?"
For me, I would say a game designer really focuses on creating the game, like the game mechanics, for example, versus the level designer is really more focused on creating the space with the game mechanics that the the game designer wants to be implemented, and really like everything else, like from what I mentioned earlier, like the game mechanics, the gameplay, the puzzles, narrative, and so on.
I'm assuming there's one keyword. How do you learn to communicate?
So for Capitolite, I always try to join in on co-working days, and that way I'm able to get to know really like everybody, or just like people who I really haven't spoken to a lot. Um, and I feel like for any company that you work with, or really like any group, it's always like good to try to get to know everybody. That way it's it becomes like really easy to a lot easier to communicate with them whenever you're like in a team meeting, and communicating within different departments versus my own. um since level design and, like, for example, environment art, they work like they work like parallel to each other. I would say I'm really I really try to communicate more with for example, for like wax art, they have the prototype team and then the art team. Like, I really try to get to know the other art team members, because like I know they're going to be looking at my level design layout, and if there's anything that they don't understand or like they need more information on, then since we've already communicated beforehand and they kind of know a little bit about me and like how I work, then it just makes the process for updating something a lot easier.
Yeah, process well, because for what are your thoughts at a large?
Um, that's a bit difficult, to be honest. Well, for Capitolite, it is a small team. I think around 11, and it's much easier communicating with everybody. Versus like wax art, it's like it's like 40 plus people, and yeah, I would just say it's a lot easier to communicate in a smaller team. You really have the chance to like get to know everybody, and I guess like everybody can be available a lot easier than compared to like a big group, like compared to wax art, because there's times where in a team meeting, like not everybody's gonna be available. Like that's what I find, like in weekly team meetings, there's less people available for like wax art versus Capitolite. Really, I would say like 95% of the time everybody's there during the weekly meetings.
But at larger companies, is wax art or
No, so that's an independent project, and it's also something that if anybody's interested in, I would recommend. I can post a link to that as well.
yeah, there's probably people.
Yeah, it's a project with like a lot of people. I know Michael is primarily like looking to expand like the art and the engineering team. So if anybody in the who's listening, or who happen to know somebody who might be interested in this opportunity, then I highly recommend it. Michael's like a really great guy to work with, He provides mentorship for everybody on the team, and Waxhard is looking to be released sometime within the next year, and hopefully get it published by a company.
Did you? What kind of
3D horror platformer.
but how far in?
So when I joined the team, they had the first the first and second levels done. They're really uh, right now focusing on a lot of the environment art and enemy enemy models. It's really hard to say like how far we are because there's just like a lot of people working on the project. So to track the progress for it is for like everything is difficult. But I know for like level design, we are looking at redesigning some areas for the first level. We have the third level completed. I believe Michael is looking to only have 4 levels for the entire game.
But I will say that modeling how to implement. So there probably are people. But Adrian asked, how does genre?
So for genre, so for Path of Kami, the spaces are a lot more open since it's supposed to be a more of a like atmospheric, like a game where you can really appreciate the scenery, and so the spaces are not like confined as they are like in Wax Art. The shapes used in Wax Art, they really we aim at representing like fear to the player, like yeah, fear would be like the main type of feeling that we focus on when like using shapes for the level design, and also like tight spaces. And but when looking at Path of Kami, the spaces like are a lot more open. The shapes are a lot more friendly, and yeah.
So using
Yeah.
are there any? Not sure if we, but are there any tools in learning, or yeah, just trying to figure out before they go off and start.
Yeah, I would say for Unity to learn how to use Pro Builder. Also visual scripting. That's well, I know like not every like level design job will require visual scripting, but I highly recommend for people to learn how to use in Unity like Bolt. It's for visual scripting, and then for Unreal it would be blueprints.
And have thoughts on.
Yeah. So I would say to when receiving feedback to always keep an open mind. Um, the entire team has the same goal at the end of the day, and that is to finish the project and get it shipped. When when receiving feedback, whether it's from somebody else on the same discipline, the same department, or just the design manager or creative director, to really try hard to not take it personal, because the constructive feedback that they're aiming to give you is not meant to be like anyway like to make it be like they're like against you. They like really want to help you become like a better designer. And it also is that it also may be that your design at the end of the day may not always be used, or like not the entirety of your design may be used. And it happens, but it doesn't mean that the person that you're working with, like, they're taking it out on you or anything. It's just that maybe there's like another design that would work better for this area, and you just kind of learn as you go. Is what I would say.
Kind of similar. Listening in on previous that I've heard, um, students or people who just college that sometimes it's hard for them to realize that they grow from there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's definitely, guys, don't be stubborn because the old timers probably know a bit better.
Yeah, I know. Like working on both projects, like Wax Art and Path of Kami, like I would say, like I've been learning a lot more than when I first started working on both projects, and it's really due to being able to get that constructive feedback and applying it.
And moving on to the topic, has networking through school game dev organization official to you? I'll start off with that one.
Yeah, I would say because of somebody I met in, I believe, yeah, the SGDA server, who I'm also working like on another project with, or like really like we're at the beginning stage, and they were the ones who told me about wax art, and if it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't have known about the project at all. But I think just like in general, networking networking in a sorry through a game dev organization, I feel like you could really connect with other really great students, and you have the chance to work with other students in different projects. Get to know different people in different disciplines who maybe down the line may be able to connect with you. Like it may be like an opportunity arises that they could recommend you for it.
Yeah, I'm starting to find too, kind of jumping around, starting off making at people looking for game jams and sticking with that group make more is kind of find those people through. But I will say, like, it wasn't just one. I have to like branch out and have like so many servers on my Discord.
Yeah.
You have a bunch too.
Yeah, I can send those screenshots. There's so many, like, yeah, there's way too many. I mean,
Definitely a lot to follow, but worth it.
yeah, a lot of notifications. Sometimes it could be overwhelming and having to mute them.
Yeah, I have to go through each specific channel or less hearing. And what do you think students can gain from, aside from networking? Student.
I think for SGDA, what students can gain is to be part of a community where everybody, or most of the like the members are going through that same journey, and that is of trying to get their first game industry job. And it could be that everybody like different students are sharing their experience or like where they are now. And I feel like it's for anybody, like any student that is at the beginning stage um of a game development program, or like down the line, could be like their sophomore, senior, junior year. I definitely recommend for them to be part of the SGDA, because the SGDA offers opportunities. Like we have the summit where we brought in a variety of different speakers from different disciplines to talk about their experiences as professionals, and students had the chance to ask really any questions that they really wanted an answer for. And you just being able to hear about the experience from the professional and really get to know like what they've been through, or like just really get to know them, and like any recommendations that they have for students, like for their portfolios, resumes, like their LinkedIn. It's all just like really helpful. Like at the end of the day, and like a little like future event that Nicolette is also planning is a mentorship program. So that's also like another reason to be part of the SGDA.
Yeah. Well, it's the very early development. Um, we are planning to have for people who are less who are students get into the game, working with that whether
Mm.
they be or hope, but that is out for. Also, there's some workshops in some university organizing. Those have been helpful. I think you've already mentioned the networking resources, but is there any more that come to mind?
Yeah, I have three that I wrote down that I
Yeah.
can like. So there's like Code Coven, Unreal Slackers, Latinx and Gaming. I'm not sure if maybe some of you might already be in these, but I can definitely recommend these three networking. Not really focused on networking, but it's just like focused on like game development.
Yeah. I think we advertised what it's called, but is Latinx.
Latinx and Gaming.
Yeah, yeah. So we advertised that before, so I'm hoping some of or have attended. Code. That sounds familiar for some.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the link for it.
And would you call yourself a programmer within, or
Um,
is that not your expertise?
yeah, no, not really.
Okay.
I learned like programming like C sharp and like in for my associates and bachelors, but it really isn't an area where I continue to learn more like on the side or like on like be a programmer like on projects. It was more like level designer.
Ooh. Sorry. Do you find that you programming skills as a level designer?
I would say it's like for jobs they like really look for is visual scripting, and that is what I was mentioning earlier, like visual scripting, such as Bolt or like Unreal Blueprints, is what they primarily use, and this is like just to when a level designer has like an idea in mind that they want to really sell to the person that's looking over their design. Um, Implementing this idea with visual scripting is like really what helps like yeah, what helps really sell the idea, like seeing it function.
Oh, so where should students or recent
I know of a couple places. I know when like I really started looking for for a job in the industry, I started with like LinkedIn, then I went on to like remote game jobs, worked with indies, Grackle HQ, and like sometimes like even going on like different Discord servers, like opportunities get posted on there as well. And Twitter is like another place that sometimes people post links to like jobs that haven't even been posted on, like that haven't even been like made like to the general public. So yeah, it's a lot of different places that people can look for.
remote game jobs? And we actually, because they have a bot for both of those. We have those job posts on our server. You guys want to keep track of those, but I know most IVCs not quite ready, but it's something to look out for. There's the occasional internship.
Mm.
Do you have any tips for what else to do aside from applying for jobs after graduating?
I know for myself, after I graduated, I felt really like burnt out. So I would say like to anybody who really feels like they need a break for some time after, working on like a really big project like your capstone project. If you can, to really take some time to take a break until if you feel like you need to like recover like mentally, emotionally, like physically, to really go for it. If you have the time to take an extended period, an extended break, then if you really need it, then definitely go for it. You don't want to start working on another like new project or starting on a project that you've been working on before and just continue that like that burnout or like that feeling of exhaustion or like feeling of like dread like I have to like start working on this project again. Like, I just like want a break for some time. So I definitely would recommend that to like anybody who feels like they need it.
Yeah, I can just jumped into don't want to work on it anymore. But sadly, with school, you kind of had deadlines. So, uh,
Yeah.
do you have any more advice which hasn't been mentioned for us students looking to work in the game?
Yeah, so when looking at job postings, the one thing I did for Capitalight was I noticed that they required to submit like an intro about yourself and a resume and your portfolio too. But they didn't talk about a cover letter, and I decided to I feel like it would be better if I submit a cover letter, and so I did. And in the cover letter, I had the opportunity to talk more about myself. That way, the creative director that I work with now, she was the one that interviewed me for the position, and she noticed that out of everybody else, like I really went out of my way to stand out for the level designer position, and like that was like one of the reasons why she ended up choosing me as the level designer to bring onto her team. And it was the like the entire process for getting hired. It was originally meant for like a two-step, like a two interview process. One where I meet with the creative director, and then another one with the team. But because like I really stood out and they felt like really confident about me, they just decided to skip ahead and not take me through the second interview. They just hired me straight on from because of the impression that I left from the first interview. So always, if you can, try to make yourself stand out. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
At
Yeah. Yeah, so I had explained to Deanna that I started off as, somebody who found out about the game during quarantine. So I started off as a fan, and then, I started off like as a supporter, like as a backer. And then, after seeing the game being developed for over a year, I believe, or a year or a year and a half, and I was like really inspired by the passion like the dedication that the team was putting into the project despite going through quarantine. And so it made me really interested in the game. And I believe it was a week before the actual job posting went up, like I wanted to like just email the studio and see like, hey, by any chance are you all looking for a level designer like anytime soon? And I kind of like sat on that email, because I was like I don't really know if I want to email them or not, but the following week, that's when I saw that the job posting went up, and I also talked about that during the interview. So from fan to like backer to now developer, Deanna was really able to see like how my interest progressed for the game over time.
Yeah, that's really cool. If you just send that email, it seems to have you didn't send it. There's more positive, sending a respectful company rather than not.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be inspiration to us that we can to work on games are fascinating. And is there any game projects that you liked spotlight from or show off? Links.
Apart from Path of Kami and Waxhard, no, those are like really the only games where like I have like blockouts in. But even then, I can't like show.
Can't do that. Yeah.
I really wish.
So you already mentioned a bit how you transitioned. But what drives you? Like what drove you to why do you like?
I think it's because like I've always like wanted to be able to express my my creativity and my curiosity, and so game development was one way that I've been able to do that. And so to be able to craft like an immersive and like memorable experience for people is the reason that I really want to like keep working in the game industry. And from that, to apply my my leadership experience like with SGDA and like a previous game dev club that I was in, to help like learning game developers by giving them opportunities and resources so that they can further progress in their career within the industry, and to also give back to communities like Code Coven or like Latinx in gaming, by turning my years of future experience into possibly mentoring other developers, speaking at panels, or really supporting them in any way I can.
Yeah, I mean you're still on like you're a recent graduate, right? When did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated last year in May.
I mean, look, you just graduated, you already have your when you're really famous, you talk for us, so and do you have any games or
Favorite games. I really like the Uncharted series, the Last of Us series. Also, like I was like a big fan of like platformers when I was younger, like Sly Cooper, like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. Like those games I would really play a lot. Like nowadays, I mainly like play like games like with my friends, like Apex or like Overwatch. Those games, yeah, like games where like I can play with other people.
probably over? Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, and also games where games like Gone Home, What Remains of Edith Finch, Firewatch, um, Stardew Valley. I've really been trying to get into like Destiny too, but it's taking me time.
On home, Firewatch. That's also
Yeah.
not that expensive.
Yeah, I really recommend it to anybody.
Remember the company. and they're also hiring. If you guys are looking um work. What are your thoughts on working for in a large company based on what you
I mean, for now, for indie, I would say you have more freedom. Like, um, you're able to, if you're assigned to like one task, you're able to really, you're not just like locked in into that one task. You can be assigned to others if, if more tasks are open, or if, if you just ask the person in charge. But I feel like when it comes to like large companies, I can't really speak on them, but I know I've heard from other professionals that for like level design, you like once you're assigned to a task, that is the task that you're gonna be doing. Like you can't just like jump from one to the other. Like right now, I enjoy the freedom that I have with Capitolite, so that's where I'm at with it now.
I honestly got through all of my questions aside from what your process is for level design, but I'm not sure minutes is for that.
I can post it. It's a long explanation.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have any more questions before try to get into that one? Do you have any feel free to raise your hand at this point. We don't really have a lot of time. Or type it in chat.
Okay. Oh, okay. It didn't even post like a normal text message.
Whoa, I've never seen it like this.
Yeah, me neither.
Adrian asked, do you have a favorite level design book?
Yeah, I was recommended to it's called the Architectural Approach to Level Design, the second edition. That has to be my favorite. Let me post a link to it too.
Thanks. Thank you so much for all these. So many resources. And I will try to compile them all in the resources. Don't lose them. Also try to figure out how to get this format in a normal way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. About the level design process, you'd rather people just read it because it's just so much.
I can read it. It's just like a lot. How much time do we have?
Only 5 minutes. Stay off that one, but
Okay.
unless if you guys feel like sticking around a couple more minutes, over 5. What are people's thoughts?
I don't think it'll take over 5 minutes.
Okay. Sure. I will silence myself and
Okay, so for me, my level design process really just starts off with like one simple idea, and that one simple idea can really start from anything. Most of my ideas, they can come from looking at reference photographs or like a drawing. It's just anything that really helped me like visualize in my head after looking at like at different shapes. But then there's like other times where an idea can come from like having a conversation with somebody, or observing nature, or like watching movies or TV shows, listening to music, or really whatever you can think of. And from that one idea, I start combining it with more until I can start thinking of the setting, the mood, the location, the theme for the level that I want to create. And I've explained it in like I hope this example makes sense, but it's like writing down like just singular words on small pieces of paper and placing them all together in a bowl. But in reality, I'm just like writing them down in my level design notebook and seeing how each word can connect with the other, or like how each idea can connect with the other. And after that, I focus on the goal for the level. I think about what will be the purpose behind the level, and will it be that the player, will it be that they learning a new game mechanic? Are they wanting to know how to reach from point B to A with different sets of obstacles or like enemies in their path? Or is it that it's an area of interest for the player? It's when I begin to think, how exactly will the player be able to identify what the purpose of the level is and how they're going to complete that goal for the level. And once all of this, once I identify all of this, I think I focus on like the beat and pacing, and I graph that, I document that, and I save it for later for for iterating. Then I begin to gather visual references, and it really depends if I'm looking for a certain kind of mood for a level or area. And if I am, then I create a mood board for it. And most of the time, I focus on getting 30 to 50 images for everything from the environment to the foliage, architecture, lighting, etc. Sometimes I can look at visual references from a video. Other times, I just try to go outside and get the visual reference from whatever like really just stands out to me or like catches my interest. And this could be like from landmarks to a particular building or like an interior of a room. And once I have all of that collected, I then start drawing out the 2D layout on pen and paper. And I try to draw out multiple layouts of a level that focus on the purpose and goal first. And this allows me to think about the player's path next and how I can include the mechanics, the obstacles, enemies, everything that really is taken from the game design. And then I finish the pen and paper layout, and then I convert it into a digital design to further enhance it, and that way I'm not like having the person looking through them like having to guess like what my handwriting is saying. After receiving the feedback on the 2D layout, that's when the iterations are made. The necessary iterations are made into the design. And finally, once that gets approved, that's when I move on to the blockout phase. And it could be, Unity or Unreal. And I start blocking out the level first with basic geometry. And that could be like doors, floors, roofs, stairs, etc. And then I focus to implementing the actual gameplay for the level. And just like throughout the entire process, I make sure to write down any changes that I'm making while blocking out and keeping the level design document updated. And I'm constantly making sure that I'm testing the level as I block out to make sure that it's being played as intended. And testing helps me make sure that it meets the level design principles that I've chosen to apply. It also matches the mood that I'm going for, and to determine if the flow and pacing needs to be changed, and then just the overall design to make sense for the player. Next is when I move to the visual scripting, and I just start scripting events to make sure that, like I mentioned earlier, if I have an idea and it requires scripting, then this will really help me sell the idea behind the design. And then I just spend time like fine-tuning events to make sure that that particular event has if it has a certain speed, that it needs to be like adjusted until if it feels like just right, or like a certain like lighting needs to be increased or decreased or increased or like toned down. And then it just goes on to moving to testing, and then I send out my 3D the 3D level block out for feedback, and I jot down like any feedback that I receive and move forward with applying the necessary changes for the level. And I say it may not be the only time I meet with the person in charge of. Oh yeah, so collecting feedback from not just the person reviewing my level, but also conducting a player test. and seeing what type of feedback we received and what we can apply. And after a blockout gets accepted, then it goes through polish by using assets that are that have been created by the art team, or just like placeholder assets until the assets created by the team are finished. And just focusing on polishing the level until everything just feels, looks, and plays right. And one more playtest session, collect more feedback, apply the final iterations, and have it ready for release. And that is that.
Much for definitely for my current project. Through the recording. I did record this. Sadly, I cut off like your introduction, so I'll have to say this is like who's. But thank you so much for talking for our club, all your help.
Yeah, anytime.